Hey guys, it's me, Darcy, joined as always by Kris.
Yes.
And welcome to the 11th, and I only bring this up...
Because you've been counting.
Yes, but it's the 11th edition of our Unnamed podcast where we talk rubbish. And I only bring that up because last week was the 10th, and we'd been doing it for 10 times. I feel that's a big deal. And we just missed it completely.
Because we weren't counting.
We made it to the first milestone, number 10, and I didn't realise until I'm editing podcast number... it's number 10. We probably should have. That's a milestone. So the next milestone is podcast 100, obviously.
Well, yeah.
And then podcast 200, because you can count every 100 as a big deal, but not every 10. But the first 10, getting there is kind of a, that means you've been doing it for a while now.
Well, you could even almost go 50, because that's basically a year.
Yeah, 50 podcasts. 1 year of the podcast is a big deal. And we will get there, and we will not even realise.
Yes.
Until I'm editing later and go, we've been doing this for a year.
Oh, this is 52. Oh, shit.
Probably should have made a deal about that. Okay.
Next one.
But yeah, in carrying on our long-held tradition of just talking rubbish without any plan, I thought I'd kick us off by just talking rubbish without any plan before we go on to what I've actually planned.
Oh, okay.
And that was just today. I was watching the news while I was getting ready to go to the gym. And as I did mention to you earlier, Indonesia's passed these new laws.
Yes.
Which affect Australians going to Bali, and I don't really give a shit about any of that. Like, I can't go into Bali and I can't have sex with my girlfriend or just a random chick I pick up. And it's like, that's illegal. And it's like, yeah, but that's illegal in a lot of places in the world. Like,
True.
There's a lot of places where you get in a lot of trouble for fornication. It sucks that you can't do it in Bali anymore, because Bali was cheap and a great holiday destination, don't get me wrong.
True.
But the real law, and I did mention this to you earlier, the real law that I love is that you cannot insult the president. I think that's a bull law. That's a man, that is a man who's gone, you know what? Fuck premarital sex.
Yes.
Fuck people not married living in the same house. And fuck people saying I can't do whatever the fuck I feel like. You insult me, you're off to jail.
What are you doing in here? Insulted the president? Oh, Jesus.
Oh, how did you get here? I murdered 10 people. And you? I had sex before marriage. You? I said the president looked silly. It's brilliant. It's not brilliant if you live there, but it's as someone who has no real intention of going to Indonesia anytime soon, especially now that Bali sucks a little bit more, because Bali was all I was ever really interested in, going back there. Yeah, I think it's hilarious, because it's like, I can insult him as much as I want, as long as I don't go there.
That's true.
And then you get people like Donald Trump who can just insult all you want because he didn't pass a law to say you couldn't insult him. Oh, I just love it. It's one of those laws which you're just like, how did this pass? But at the same time, you're like something going like, it's clever.
It is.
It's really clever until he's no longer president. In which case, well, then you've done yourself, because they can say whatever the fuck they feel like after you're no longer president.
That's true.
When the next president comes in, he goes, they can't insult me. They can insult you as much as they like. Because you no longer hold the office. No, so I love that. I absolutely love that. I just think that just screams at me. I am a baller. I do what I like.
Yeah, it does.
It's good stuff.
Solid water pass.
In other news, and this is actually brilliant news, and Kris already knows about this because I told him, and he didn't believe me.
No, I didn't.
The two people that I told, I was like sitting here and I was like, okay, there's a bit of backstory to this, right? First of all, my phone, like many of our phones, give me notifications of like Google being like, hey, you'll probably care about this.
Mine doesn't anymore.
Mostly, I would say Google's wrong. I get a lot of football. I do sometimes care about the football, but it's like, hey, you wouldn't believe what's going on in the world of the NRL. Someone's chasing it, and you're just like, go away. But then you get ones that are like, oh yeah, remember this one incident that you cared about? We're talking about it, and like, okay, I want to read that. Then I get Marvel news, which is just a skip. I don't give a fuck about that. It's like, for some reason, and I have no idea why, because I've never clicked on any of the news stories it gives me for Marvel.
Yeah.
Google like hits me with one 2 a.m. every goddamn morning, and I'm just like, fuck off. I don't give a shit about that. It's like, hey, you'll never believe what's happening in the next stage of the MCU, and I'm like,
You've just not gone through and turned off notifications?
no, because I do like the occasional ones I get.
Okay. Fair.
So the football ones, sometimes. The Marvel ones, never. Then I'll get ones, which are like, oh, Steam's having a sale, and I'm like, oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I like to know about that kind of stuff, so I'll get those ones. And then I never buy anything from the Steam sales because the problem is this: like, Steam has a sale, and I'm like, oh, any games I want on sale? No. And then at other times, I'm just like, oh, I want this game, so I buy it. It's not rocket science. I go, I want this game, I buy the game. I don't wait for a sale, which is not frugal of me. If I was being frugal, I would wait for the sale. But I have a theory on this, and it pretty much goes like this, right? I want the game now.
Yeah.
So I buy the game.
Yeah.
Then I'm poor, because I spent my money.
Yeah.
I want the game now, right? This is the other scenario. I go, no. I'll wait till Steam has a sale. 6 months later, Steam has a sale. I look, the game I want's not on sale. So I go, fuck it, I want to buy this game. So now I'm poor and angry because I could have been playing this game for 6 months, but instead I fucking waited.
Yeah, sounds about
So
right.
I just go, fuck it.
Whereas I buy a game I want to play and then don't play it.
That might work if you were talking to anyone other than me.
I'm aware.
Kris, how many consoles can you see in front of you?
I know.
How many of them have I bought games for? I recently bought another Pokemon game. I have played none of them.
I recently bought God of War Ragnarok. I still haven't played it.
Yep.
By recently, I mean it was installed before you could start playing it.
Yeah, I know, Kris, but that's my life. That's like, oh, do you want to install this game? It's yours. I'm like, yeah, sure, cool. And then like a month later, I'm like, oh, that looks like a cool game. I'm gonna buy it. And it's like, oh, I've owned it. I've owned it for a while now. I'm gonna play it. It's like it is okay. It is legitimately like this, right? I own all the Forza Horizon games.
Yes.
Because I love that. That's a great series. It's so much fun.
Yes.
I have played 1, 3, and 5.
3 and 5.
Yeah.
I think that's the ones I played.
Nope. You've played 4, and I know you played 4 because when I bought 4, you played it, and you went, oh, it's pretty good. And I went, really? I should give that a go. And then didn't. And then the next Forza game came around, and I bought that as well. That is, so like, yeah, no, that's...
Wait, so Forza's the one I played briefly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't played 5 then.
No, you haven't played 5 because I recently bought that. But yeah, no, so that's like my life. It's like I buy a game and I'm just like, I love playing that. And then because I'm impatient and a dickhead, I go, oh, this is a 40 gig install. Probably not going to be able to play it anytime soon. And then by the time it's finished installing, I'm just like, I don't want to play a game right now. I have that problem when I'm sitting there and I'm like,
what game do I want to play?
I want to play Rainbow Six Siege. It has a 500 meg update. Okay. 500 meg, that's like 2.5 minutes.
Yes,
and I'll sit there and I'm like, I don't want to play this game anymore. And like it'll literally be like, I'll click the button, it'll be like loading in. I'm like, nah.
I'm done. Off.
It was 2.5 minutes of my life I'm never getting back.
Yeah.
Game, you've wronged me. So as I said, I don't wait, and I'm not going to ever. So like when Steam's like, oh, we're having a sale, I'm like, oh, are any of the games that I'm like on the fence about on sale? Any of the games that I'm like, this looks interesting, but I ain't shelling out for this price for this game because I'm probably not gonna like it. Are any of them on sale? And it's like, bang bang, yes they are. I'm like, sweet, $20, done. But then the games I'm actually like, I'm waiting for this game to come out because I'm going to like it. And you like look at it and it's like, no, this game's popular. We're not putting it on fucking sale. What do you think we are? A charity? I'm like, I know you're not a charity, Steam.
They don't wait for sales.
It's just no point. Okay, so it's like, I did all my Christmas shopping in the Black Friday sale.
Yo.
Mainly because I did it all on Amazon. And like, I was like, what can I get for people that's happening while the sale's going on? I didn't do it specifically because of the sale, but I was like, hey, if I can get a good deal on something for Christmas, it's great. It's fucking brilliant.
That's fair.
For myself, I don't wait. I'm not sitting there going, like Christmas is a thing for me where it's just like, yeah, I'll buy this for Christmas because you can buy shit for Christmas like a year in advance. Fuck, you can buy stuff for Christmas like, Kris could go out right now and buy something for Christmas in 10 years. It would be outdated and terrible, but it could...
It depends on what it is.
A steak.
It's gonna be a little more than outdated and terrible.
It's come back around.
I think it comes back around.
Yeah, all the bacteria and shit. Now you can just cook and eat that.
True.
No, but yeah. So like, that's about the only time I ever look at sales. And then other times it's like, okay, Boxing Day sale. I can guarantee you that I will have a look at the Boxing Day sales. Not because I'm after anything in particular. I'm just seeing if there's any good deals on something that I might be interested in.
Probably won't look at them.
And if I'm like, Boxing Day sales, oh, that looks cool, and it's cheap, buy. Whereas, like, I don't sit there and be like, I really want this, wait for it to go on sale. It's not on sale. I'll come back next week. Still not on sale. I'll come back next. I'm just like, anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Black Friday sales. I'll jump in and I'll like be like, is there a good deal on something that I might be interested in? But I don't go in there going like, I'm chasing this and I want a good deal on it, because I know that's not how fucking sales work.
No.
You are never going to go into a sale and be like, I'm chasing this and get it for a good deal. You'll be like, go in and be like, I want this. And you go in and be like, $1.50 off, and you're like, deal!
Fuck yeah!
I'll save money! I was like, but did you? Did you really?
It's unfortunate.
But yeah, so, yeah. Basically, and I just basically use Amazon for all of my shopping these days, because I'm patient, yet impatient at the same time. It's weird, isn't it?
No. Depends on what it is.
Yeah, I know.
When you're bored and looking for a game to play, yes, impatient.
Oh, absolutely.
When it's like, hey, I want this. And doesn't matter, but you want it. You can want it.
Oh, absolutely. And then you're just like, okay, I can buy this on Amazon and it'll cost me $50. If I went to a store and bought it, it's going to cost me $150. Yeah, I'll wait the week for it to be delivered.
Yeah.
Because those savings are just great.
It's true.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but yeah, no, so I am incredibly impatient when it comes to buying video games. So I'm not going to a store to buy them, even though I could save massive bucks. Like, you can save so much by going to a store, because stores have sales, unlike Nintendo.
Fucking
Nintendo. Nintendo is the only game company I know, and I love this about them as much as I hate it. They go like, hey, you know this game that's been out for 5.5 years? Yeah.
And that's
still
the
$80.
first of 3 games?
Still $80, and you're like, Nintendo, I could go to the game store and get this for like $25, and they're like, yeah, but you're not, are you? You're a lazy cunt, and you're gonna fucking sit there and you're gonna buy it from us for $80, and you're like, yeah, I am.
Fucking awesome.
Fuel prices aren't that bad yet, so but yeah, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fucking buy this game off you, and they're like, that's what we thought. And then you end up sitting there and you're going like, holy shit. And like every other company is just like, no, this game's been out for like a year. It's like half price. You're gonna get it for half price. No one's gonna make you pay full price. But no, like, Nintendo are like, yeah, we are, and you're gonna fucking love it. And you're like,
I'm not gonna love it.
Nintendo, you're pushing my limits.
Pushing my limits.
Yeah, but you haven't changed what you do, have you? And you're like, just take my money and go.
Just don't finish putting my fucking password in.
I see you've played me. You've played me well.
Motherfuckers.
Goddamn sons of bitches. But yeah, no, I love that about Nintendo. I love the fact that they're just so unabashedly like, yeah, we're Nintendo. You want to play our games? You can't go anywhere else. We ain't fucking Activision, who you can play on Xbox and PlayStation and buy whichever one's cheaper. And so they're in a competition with themselves. No. We're Nintendo. You want to play our games? You buy them on our console. How much do they cost? They cost what we fucking say. Doesn't change. Which is actually, and can I say this? It's actually really good for me as well. Because a game will come out on the Xbox.
Yeah.
And I'll go like, oh, I'm sort of interested in it. I'll give it 2 weeks. See what the reviews say about it. And, you know, then I'll think about buying it again. So you do that, and then you go, yeah, the reviews weren't great. I was hoping it would be next level, but it's just kind of middling. Don't get me wrong, I still want to play it, but it's not great. I ain't paying full price for it. So then you wait 6 months and the price drops to like half price, and you go, that's the price I'm willing to pay for this game. This not so great game. Whereas Nintendo, the game comes out and I go, I might as well buy it now. I ain't getting any cheaper, so I'm fucking buying it now.
That's really good.
So yeah, so you know.
Well, they do more demos on theirs as well.
Well, they do demos, so you can try the game before you buy it. And I have that for like I have that for like Kirby, Metroid, a few games. I haven't played any of the demos yet, so I will, so I can decide whether or not I want to actually get the games. Because I'm on the fence about Metroid. Because I'm kind of like, I'm not a big fan of side-scrolling shooters.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
But it is a Metroid game, and Metroid games are pretty good. They have a whole genre named after them.
It's true.
So, I should play the demo and give that a go. But, yeah, no, as I said, it's in a way...
I have the demo for that as well.
Yeah, in a way,
I've also never played it.
It's a releasing feeling to know that if a new game comes out and you're interested in it, you are not doing yourself any favors by waiting to get that game. Just buy it right now and play it right now, because it ain't getting any cheaper. So you're not saving any money by waiting, which is nice. It takes a lot of stress off you, because you know occasionally a new game will come out and you'll sit there and go, I really want to play this game. However, if I just wait a couple of months, it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
I can get it cheaper, especially now. Like, a lot of things, you're like sitting there going, oh, if I got this game... Like, a game comes out now, right?
Yeah.
It's going to make its bank off the people who are like, I've got to play this game the second it's come out. However, I can guarantee you, if you waited till just after Christmas, so like what, 11, 19... if you waited 19 days...
Yeah.
One of the game stores would have a sale, and you could probably get $20 off the price. At the minimum. If you walked into some game stores like EB and they're like, hey, we're having a massive sale, fucking everything's half price. And you're like, excellent.
Good.
So like, you could save a lot of money by just waiting a bit. And some days, I said I'm not very frugal, but some days I sit there and I go, I don't really want this game. Or, and this doesn't happen often, but it's happened once, and it was scary to me. But I went, I'm going to wait and buy this game in a month's time, or 2 months' time.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to wait until its price has dropped, because I know I'm not going to play it before that period. And I was just like, and I made that decision, and I was like, that's weird. I've never made that decision in the past. I've never... Knowing that I am not going to play a game for 6 months has never stopped me buying that game then and there on the spot. I've just been like, I want this game and I will have it. And then it's like, oh, so did you ever play that game you bought? No, I didn't. I was just sitting there waiting to be started.
Yeah.
Like so many games that I own.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's... Yes.
Installed a lot of those games.
It's true.
Still haven't played them.
Ooh, there are so many.
Just one day I was really, like, I sat down, like, you know what, I want to play Tomb Raider. I'm going to play it, I'm going to install it. I waited, I turned it on, I started it up, started the tutorial, and turned it off.
Let me tell you, there was a day I was like, I'm going to play the new Tomb Raider. So I started playing the new Tomb Raider. Then I went, I can't, I'm like, ooh, you know, because it's a story continuation, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, so I got like 5 5-ish hours, and like I say 5-ish hours, people go like, a game doesn't take 5 hours. I am not a speedrunner. I am someone who's like in an open world game, especially something like Tomb Raider where it's like there's a lot of secret stuff. I explore every goddamn pixel of the screen and I'm like, is there something here? Is there something here? Is there something here? Can I go do this? Can I go do that? What can I do? So like 5 hours isn't 5 hours, if you get my meaning.
So Elden Ring, oh god.
I told you, I played that for 2 hours and barely made it past the character customization.
I'm aware of what you did. It was further behind than I thought.
Hey Kris, do you know the bridge? I know of a bridge, yeah, like there's a bridge. Whereabouts? Like when you walk out of the church at the start of the game? Yeah, I'm at that point. Didn't you say you played for 2 hours? Yeah.
No, so that's not even where I thought you were. That's not even where I thought you were.
Okay. Well,
because there's another point when you come out of there, you go into another place which you come out of it.
No, like as I said,
it's not
I had
the
the same
church.
conversation with...
I was thinking of the church that's just after the area that you come out of, and I'm like...
No, I had the same conversation with Sammy, and I was just like, dude, you give me a character customization, that's the first 3 hours of the game.
Yes, I've done it.
And then...
Was it again? Code Vein.
Oh, Code Vein.
Spent like 2 hours on that. It's not
That's
even
because
a joke,
they're like...
it was 2 hours.
They're like, we're going to let you customize your character, and you're like, okay.
You can customize your left eye, then your right, make him look different in different colours.
Yeah.
And of course I had to do that, and I couldn't just go with one of the default colours. I had to make my own.
Yeah, they kind of went, hey, have you ever thought maybe customize everything? And it's like, god damn it.
Oh damn you motherfuckers. I'm going to. I hate you. But I like it.
Yeah. I enjoyed Code Vein. I don't think I ever finished it though.
No.
I should go back and replay it. I was enjoying it. Weird game. Very anime.
Well, yes it is.
Just in everything. Like, even the concept. The thing. Were they vampires? I'm pretty sure they were vampires. But not really vampires. It was weird. Oh,
Yes.
and I remembered why I never finished the game. Because about... on my way to the last boss...
Yeah.
I suddenly realised, and I can't remember how, it may have been I read something, because I was like, how do I beat this boss? And then they were like, oh, you do this, and then you do this, and then if you do this, and I went, oh god, all the bosses I've killed, there's actually a better path to get the best ending. And it's like, I had just been murdering them, and it's like, oh no, you can actually save them, they're not evil, and it's like, fuck.
You can save them.
Yeah. And I went, well, that's a restart, isn't it? Because I'm a good guy, and I don't like being the bad guy. If you watch the Cuphead episode, maybe you've seen that.
And you can see that I don't care.
Fucking onion beater.
It wouldn't... Well, I was about to say I wouldn't stop crying when I realised I haven't gone and started that.
Yeah, you did. But yeah, so that's the... So I spent 2 hours playing Elden Ring and got nowhere. Like, literally nowhere.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
Like, he didn't even get to the tutorial area.
No. Because it's really distracting. It's a super distracting game.
Fucking reading signs on the ground.
I was. And someone said, behold, tree. And I was like, there's no tree here. You've lied to me. I couldn't get over that.
They're not talking about that tree. They're talking about the Elden tree.
I couldn't get over that.
But still, the point is... He then turned it on and I'm like, oh, I don't even remember that place.
Yeah.
That's how I don't remember it.
That's
how early he was.
I spent like an hour and 45 minutes customizing my character, and there's not that much customization in Elden Ring. But I was like, what if I do this? What if I do this? What if I do this? And then I walked outside and like literally there was this like the whole floor was red, and I'm like, what does this even mean? And then I just saw like a bunch of people jumping off the cliff, and I was like...
And you can imagine how confused I was when he was telling me that people were jumping off cliffs. And I'm like, where the fuck are you at?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny because Kris was telling me about someone else he knew who had just started Elden Ring about the same time as me, and he's like, oh yeah, you should be further ahead than them. And I was like, I don't think so. And then he saw it and was like, no, No, you're not.
It's like if you've played Dark Souls 3, how pretty much the first thing you do is fight a... Like, you walk through a small area, you get to a boss fight. It's exactly what this situation was. He hadn't even gone to the fucking boss fight.
No, probably will never make it there. If I'm being honest, there's a bridge in the way, and that bridge has quite a few pixels. But yeah,
there's nothing on that bridge. I can tell you that. It's not going to stop it.
No. I'll probably have to criticise the bridge along the way. But I was telling Sammy to say that story, and he was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah. You know the starting point before you've done anything? And he's like, straight after character creation? I'm like, yeah, that's where I made it at 2 hours of playing that game. He was like, you're a menace. I'm like, I am a menace. I am.
Yes.
It's true. So yeah, I'm not a speedrunner at all. Nor am I a completionist, weirdly. Because it takes
for going around and trying to find everything you can and just not finishing, little weird.
No, I will get to a point halfway through a game where I've been on top of finding every hidden secret, and then be like, that's boring, don't want to do that anymore, and I just stop finding all the hidden secrets. Which is counterproductive because I've spent so long doing it. It's like, did you get this? No. And it's like, oh, but it was really easy to find. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't look. And they're like, wait, but you had this thing from the beginning that's super hard to find. I'm like, yeah, because I looked back then. Then I got to the point where I was like, this is boring. And then I just stopped.
I just had to look up how to get a stuff.
Back to what started that whole tangent. I was playing Tomb Raider 3.
Yes.
Which is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, one of them. I really hate the naming of that because they don't sit perfectly alphabetically ordered in my Xbox list.
Oh, that's right.
And that's one of the few things that well, they don't even sit near each other because it's like Tomb Raider, Legend of the Tomb Raider, Shadow. It's like, god damn it.
What the fuck is called it? Tomb Raider.
Yeah, so I was playing the newest one that came out, which I believe is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I got 5 hours into that and went... I can't remember what their story was in the other two, so I went back to the first one, played about 15 minutes and went, I don't want to play this anymore.
You were bored.
Pretty much.
You were bored.
It happens. And so then, so that's... I haven't finished any of the new Tomb Raider games because I get to a point where I'm like, I should play the other one. It's the same reason I haven't, even though I own all of them. I'm not joking. I own from Resident Evil 0 all the way to Resident Evil 8.
Yeah. I
have played none of them because I haven't yet decided on a starting point. I'm like, do I start in Resident Evil 1, which is technically the starting point, or do I play Resident Evil 0, which is supposed to take place beforehand? I don't know. So instead of making a decision and just playing one of the games, I sit there and go, I'm going to play Resident Evil. I start up and I go, this is a bad choice. I'm not confident in this starting point. So then I shut it down and I walk away.
Fucking hell.
Hey, I turned on Resident Evil 1 the other day and I was like, okay, time to play Resident Evil 1. I'm going to run through as Jill because she's the easier one. She gets the better stuff. I'm going to do this. The game started. It's like, pick a character. I'm like, I think 0 is a better starting point. And I just turned it off. I didn't even start 0. I just went, no. I went, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. This is why I'm trying to start a business. This is why I'm trying to start a business. I'm doing this so that I have Kris here permanently. So when I'm like, Kris, I'm going to play this game, you'll just be like, fucking play it, man.
Fucking turn it on and off you go.
But Kris.
And then halfway through, the opening sequence, you go, I can't do this, just fucking keep going. It's on.
Kris, this is the wrong choice. I made the wrong choice.
I don't fucking care.
Slap. Go. Play the game. Fuck. Yeah, no, but that happens to me with so many games that I play. Like,
we're never to get a foam hand.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Just so I can slap you with a foam hand.
Gonna have to get a steel hand. My hand's not tough enough, so I made this one out of tungsten. No, yes. But yeah, fucking, yeah, that's, and that happens to me in any games that have sequels and prequels. Because I will start playing a game and I'm like, Mass Effect is a great example of it because I actually played that in the order of 2, 3, 1. And that was a hard order because you go back to Mass Effect 1 and it's a completely different game. Like, the mechanics are all different and everything. And so I always worried about that, like going back to an earlier game and being like, I need to play the earlier game so that the later games, I know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Story-wise. Then you go back to the older game and you go, the mechanics are terrible. I don't want to play this game anymore. So I stop and I don't play any more of the games, even though I really want to, because I'm like, no, these mechanics suck.
It's fair though.
Yeah, no, right? Fair. I was talking about that with Sam the other day because we were just, after the gym session, we were just chilling, talking about video games. And I was like, yeah, I love older games. I'm like, however, because we were talking about, remember how Rockstar released the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy remastered pack?
Yeah.
And playing that, you realise that Grand Theft Auto 5 was actually a lot better in every single way than all of the old games that we used to love.
Now I'm aware of it.
Yeah, so we're talking about that and I was like, it's crazy. Like, I went back and I was like, I spent so much time playing San Andreas and...
There's only one thing. San Andreas is done better. You go into multiplayer, I can cut the first player's head off and it doesn't come back until you restart the game.
But, you know, I went back and I was like, I played 3, I played San Andreas. I didn't play a lot of Vice, granted.
Yeah, neither did I.
But
so just San Andreas.
Yeah, like I played so much San Andreas and
figured out how to get onto a motorbike.
Like, because it was kind of like when San Andreas came out. It was like I stopped playing 3 because I was like, San Andreas is better in every way, and it was, and that was the same thing for 5. But and this is really what got me thinking about it. I went, Grand Theft Auto 5 is nearly 10 years old now, 2013. And I went, it's getting pretty on in age, and I was like, and there can't be that many changes between it and San Andreas. There's so many changes between it and San Andreas. So many little changes that make it so much better, and one of the things that has always kind of been on my mind when I'm playing it, and everyone's like, it's got the biggest map of any Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, that does it? I'm like, I remember San Andreas map being pretty big. Then I went back to the remaster and went, oh no, this is just my little child mind being a dumbass. This is a tiny map.
It is.
I'm like, but like in my mind, it's like, you know, you've got the fucking Las Vegas part, you've got the foresty part, you've got the city island, and I was like, you know, this map was huge.
City island you can't go to straight away.
Yep.
Without getting a 4-star bonus level. Yep. That was fun.
But yeah, so that's what I was like. I was like, that's...
It's also easier to get 5 stars in every other game.
Yes. But yeah, so I was like, you know, I was like, San Andreas had Los Santos, like, but it also had so much more. And then I went, oh, it was, this was 100% my kid mind just being like, this map is huge, without ever realizing what a huge map was. Like, I would say there's probably games out there now that are entirely linear that have bigger maps than San Andreas.
Look, if San Andreas, it didn't take long. If you had the flying car cheat on, it didn't take long to get from one side to the other.
Fucking, I just always summon a fucking attack helicopter.
Well, no, it was actually a really good way to get money. Because you know how you got money for doing jumps? As long as you landed them?
Oh, no.
So what you did is you drove forward towards a jump, turned your flying car cheat on, so the moment you went off the jump, there's your jump. That's when your jump started. The moment you land later,
so this actually leads us into a good point about cheating, because last time we talked about cheating, right?
Yes.
And we frowned upon it. And I just want to let people know, I only frown upon online cheating. Yes. Cheating against other people. Cheating in a single player game, go for it. Cheating in a board game when you're playing against your friends, absolutely. If they can't catch you cheating, that's on them.
Yeah, that's
But online, no.
Fuck off.
Pull your head out of your ass.
Yeah.
And I just had to put that out there because I didn't want people to think that me and Kris were anti-cheating. We love it. Cheating is a way of life.
It is.
Just don't do it in online video games, man. There's no point.
No.
Save that for your single player story games.
Single player story game. At least
And
finish
when
the
you're
story
beating
first,
when you're beating someone.
Then cheat.
Yeah. Or get to a really hard part and just use the infinite money cheat.
That works too.
And that's actually what I want to say. When you being like, it's a good way to get money. Chris, if I was cheating in a game, I was cheating for money. I was just like, fuck that, money cheat.
Oh, see,
Fuck that, all the weapons
See,
cheat.
the thing is, I didn't actually need money anyway, because I did all the weapons cheat.
Yes.
Plus getting onto a push bike and then doing the cheat for a jetpack.
Yes.
It was tricky to do.
But doable.
But it was doable to be able to get on the bike with the jetpack.
Dude.
Very difficult, but it could work. But the moment you went over a certain height from the jump with the push bike, it just jumps off it and you just fly off.
Yeah.
Kind of disappointing.
But yeah, so anyway, so we were talking about old games and the remasters, and I was like, the one that probably highlighted how dumb my kid brain was the Spyro Reignited trilogy.
Yeah.
Because I was a Spyro kid. Spyro was my first game. Loved the shit out of it.
It's a great game. It's one of my first as well.
Yeah. Like, I find that with young PlayStation players, you're either in Camp Bandicoot or Camp Spyro. I
played both, but I was more Spyro.
I was Spyro all the way. And I was like, fuck that Bandicoot, he's shit. He's not a purple dragon. He's a fucking Bandicoot. Bandicoot's gay. So, yeah. And so when the Reignited trilogy came out, it was, of course I was going to buy it. It was the first 3 Spyro games. I was going to love it. And I put it in, and I loved it.
Yes.
And I was looking at that, and I'm like, this is just like I remembered. Then I went back and had a look at the Spyro that I remembered. And I went, this is nothing like I remembered.
Don't get me wrong, it still holds up.
Oh, it's a great game. The gameplay is still there.
Yeah.
What doesn't hold up, and what really surprised me, was the graphics. Because in my mind, the graphics from the new game are the graphics it always had. Yet when I go back, I'm like, Spyro's literally like 10 polygons.
Yep.
The fuck am I? The fuck was I smoking when I was a kid?
Yeah.
This game is so realistic looking. I was like, as I said, it was almost perfect when I put it in the machine and went, this is exactly as I remembered. With like a few things like, oh yeah, they've added some more to the scenery that you wouldn't have got back then because that was wasted rendering time.
True.
So I was like, oh yeah, they've added that stuff. But I'm like, characters look exactly the same. And I was like, no, they don't. Kid brain's stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was.
It's the whole thing about the memory.
Oh, dude, it's great.
Yeah.
But it was just, as I said, it was just shocking to me because when I look back, I went, oh no. Yeah, pretty funny, just that one. Yeah, so we were also just mainly talking about how Ratchet and Clank annoys the fuck out of me because they made a brand new one, and I'm like, yes, they've remastered the first one, and I was like, great.
But the remaster was shit.
Remaster wasn't great, but it allowed me to play Ratchet and Clank, which is something that I missed out on.
But there was so much missing from it.
Yeah, that's an issue.
And then the whole added thing of like, hey, Nefarious is in this game. It's like, no, he's fucking not. You remastered the first one. Nefarious was never in the first one.
Yeah, see, look, there's issues with the remaster, but I was a fan of the remaster because they did it.
Yeah.
And I finally got a chance to play.
Well, the only
Ratchet
reason
and
they
Clank.
did it is they did it so that it worked with the movie they were making,
Yes.
and then it could lead into a new series.
Yes, but you're missing my point.
Yes.
My point is that as someone who never got to play Ratchet and Clank, I was happy for an opportunity to be able to play it because I didn't get a PlayStation. I started on a PlayStation, then I left PlayStation. I didn't get a PlayStation until PlayStation 4 because I was like, fuck PlayStation. I hate you and your weird controls.
They did backwards compatibility. I have the trilogy on PS3.
They do have backwards compatibility.
Not for a PS3.
I thought the PS5 was supposed to.
I'm going to have to test this out.
You're going to have to because that's one of the big things.
I thought it was only PS4.
They were pushing hard because of the success that Xbox had with being like, hey, you know those old games you love? Fucking play them. And everyone was like, really? You mean that? And they're like, yeah, dude, just fucking do it. Like, there's a little bit of stuff we have to do behind the scenes, but we'll let you know when they're ready to play. We've got to check licensing and all that because the companies that made them may not have the license anymore. But if we can swing it, you can play it. And everyone was like, We love your Xbox, and PlayStation's like, why would you want to play old games? They're old. Play our new games. Give us money. And people are like, but what about our old games? They're like, okay, what about this? We will sell you your old games. But we're like, it's not bad. It's not bad, I can play it, but can I just put my disc in and play it? No. If you want to play it, you buy the copy we sell you. And then people were kind of like, so Xbox has been a good guy about this, PlayStation's been a dick. PlayStation, we've got backwards compatibility now. Thank us. And that was like, yeah, okay. PlayStation, no one ever said we don't want backwards compatibility.
Well, it does mean that if that's the case, I can play some PS3 games that I never played.
Well, that'll be good.
I have them.
But yeah, so like
Never-
for
I
me,
don't
the
have
remakes
Remakes.
was just a chance to play Ratchet and Clank, and I knew going in that it wasn't the original first game, which kind of sucked. But I was like, gives me an opportunity to play it. I'm happy with that.
I say that the original first game was more challenging.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But anyway, as I said, it gives me that opportunity, and I was happy for that opportunity. Then they made the new one for the PS5, and honestly, I was kind of like, I hope it's good, but I ain't buying a PS5 for a while. Like, one, you couldn't get your hands on them. Two, I'd still want an Xbox before I bought a PS5.
Fair.
And I still do. So that's why I have neither, because I'm just like, nah, I'll wait. Plus, at the moment, I'm still going like, I'll fucking wait. I'll wait. I'm not.
I'm trying to think if I've played Demon Souls yet.
No one cares.
Well, that was half the reason I was getting a PS5.
Yes.
Let
But
me have a look.
yeah, so they made the new one, PS5 only, and I was like, that's a bit of a dick move, but okay, do whatever you want to do. My real problem comes into the fact that new game, remake of the first game. Oh, you want to play second and third game? No, go fuck yourself. That's kind of what PlayStation have been saying for a long time. Oh, you want to play? You want to finish this trilogy that we made that was really good? No, go fuck yourself. We're not gonna let you do that. And so that annoys the fuck out of me.
Annoys anyone, really.
I'm like, okay, if people say you didn't do a great job on the remaster of 1, understandable. And like the challenge and stuff, I don't know where that comes in, but sometimes that just disappears with making the controls better,
Well, starters, there's less planets.
Okay, well that's not good though.
So there's less planets. The Chairman Drake fight was slightly tough. And it was that thing of like just the amount of damage he took, and like you might be using your best weapons, but
So it was cheap.
you could still win. It was just they made it a little bit more challenging.
But did they make it challenging through artificially just making him a bullet sponge?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's cheap.
Yeah, they did. However, then you get to this one, and so you don't even... Wait, I can't even remember if you actually do defeat Chairman Drake, or whether it was Nefarious that just killed him. It was one of the two. And then you fight Nefarious, which is an easy fight.
I don't know who that is.
Just the robot.
Okay. Yeah, but as I said, like, more or less, like, okay, you made the remaster, you fucked it up. You know what would fix all of this? Just being like, and not even being like, hey, you can now plug your games into the console and they work, because that's not going to happen. But just being like, unremastered edition 1, 2, and 3 in the PlayStation Store. And then people would be like, people would spend, and I kid you not, $40 on a game that is old, doesn't look great, and PlayStation have already made all their bank back on.
And the people already have 2 copies of it. One on the PS1 or 2, and the PS3.
Yep. People would absolutely go crazy because we love the games that we love.
Yes.
We
Wait, no, sorry, they were on the PS2, aren't they? PS2.
We dislike when you remaster it and you fuck it up.
Yes.
Which is something that's been going on. I don't know how many people pay attention to the KOTOR remake, but that was a thing.
The which one?
KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic. That was something that was happening there was a lot of news about, and then it all went silent. And the reason it went silent is probably because mistakes have been made.
They were made, yes.
And as I said to young Samuel the other night when I was talking to him, the KOTOR remake is really the easiest remake you could ever have. On your list of remakes that we have to do, what is the hardest one? Well, it's not KOTOR, because KOTOR is like, make the graphics look better, test a new fighting system to see if there's a better, more fluid fighting system that we want to install.
Yeah.
Change nothing else. Oh, sorry, one more change. The fighting system is not a change that needs to happen. It's just something that personally I would like an option between, if you can. If you can't, I'll leave it the way it was. Remove the loading times because they're not needed anymore.
Yeah, true.
So, better graphics, no loading. Everything else can and probably should stay the same. Perfect game.
Perfect.
You've got a game that's going to literally sell itself because all the people coming back from going like, loved KOTOR. This is KOTOR with better graphics and no loading times, because the loading times are fucking killer. They're really fucking long.
Like GTA 5? Or longer?
I would say shorter than GTA 5, but more frequent. Like, because you'd have a map and it'd be like segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, segment 4. To move between those segments, which you would have to do because you're in a city doing like fetch quests, loading screen every time.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
So I suppose they did the same fucking thing with Xenoverse 1.
Yep, and it's because of the system requirements. Systems are better now, so fix that, solve that. That's gone. That's not an issue.
Yeah.
Make the graphics look better. As I said, personally, I would like a more real-time fighting thing than the turn-based one they had, but that's just a personal preference. If they didn't do that, I would still fucking buy the game because I love the game. And maybe a talk about re-adding in some of the cut content.
Yes.
If you had time to. But again, not something you have to do. Something that would be awesome is to just package them both into one remake and be like, we've remade both of the games. They're both beautiful looking.
Be nice.
Nothing else has changed. Oh, sorry. They're both beautiful looking. The loading times are gone. Nothing else has changed. Take my money. Here, it's yours. I just put this in my hand and...
Bring up the fry meats?
Yeah. No. Maybe.
Yep.
I'm gonna just put a random one in there. But yeah, no, like, that's all you had to do. That's a game that's gonna sell itself. That's a game that still has a cult following. Unless you're Kris and don't know what KOTOR is, but...
I didn't know it by that name. I wasn't part of the cult.
It wasn't. And that is a scary cult to be a part of, let me tell you. But once you're in for life, because it is, and still considered, right? And this is a big deal, because Jedi Fallen Order was a fucking great game.
Yes.
KOTOR still beats it as the best Star Wars game ever made.
It's pretty good.
KOTOR 2, not so much, but that has its own story, and it was like super rushed and came out in like 16 months after the first one.
Oh.
So, considering how rushed it was, still a decent game. But yeah, so and then from what I've seen and heard, pour one out for KOTOR remake. It's not looking great.
That's fantastic, man.
And yeah, you know, as I said, that is a game. I own it on Xbox. I own it on PC. They tell me a remake's coming out, I'm like, fucking damn right, I'm buying it again on PC. I'm buying a remake of it because I want that game in its shiniest, best quality and nothing else. Yes. But yeah, and that's kind of the sad thing about remakes is remakes are an opportunity for a lot of people to get into an old game without having to make the obvious sacrifice of playing an old game that looks like it's almost 20 years old.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
So it's kind of like, you know, it's rough. It sucks for that market. But as I said, there are some games that you go, if you do the remake properly, it is, what are you dealing with? Oh, you're dealing with a mint. Print yourself some money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so old games, man, when they get the remakes. And as I said, I don't know, sometimes I'm glad though that remakes don't happen, because the remakes need to be made by people who don't just want to print money but actually care about what they're remaking. So Toys for Bob did a great job, because I believe they truly cared about making Spyro and the Crash Bandicoot trilogy good games.
They remade Crash Bandicoot from the ground up. They had to, because they couldn't use any of it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like,
and they even added in the level that they took out in the original because it was too hard.
Yeah, and as I said, that's great. Like, that's what you want on your remake teams. You don't want someone who's just going like, how can we possibly make this as cheap as possible so that we can just make money? So, yeah. Although then you get the weird ones like Final Fantasy VII Remake, which has been my first opportunity to play Final Fantasy. I have not taken it yet. I own it. I haven't played it. Why? Because I'm waiting for fucking Square Enix to release the second part.
Yeah.
I will not play your game until it is fully there to be played, and then I will wait until I have a chance to play it. But I'm not playing it until you release the second part.
Have a chance to play it while the update's already been done when he wants to play.
Wait, what? Have they released the second part?
No, I'm just saying the update needs to be done.
Oh, yeah.
When you decide, I'm going to play this, if there's an update, it's not getting played.
Oh, absolutely. Don't update it once it's release the second part. Don't update it. You've lost me. No, but I'm just. It's one of those ones where I'm just like, they released it.
Yep.
Everything I've heard about it is good. I'm ready to play it. Then they went, it's part one of part two of a 2-part thing, and it's not entirely a remake. I get that. The next part is going to be different from the actual game, from what I believe, from what I've heard.
Okay.
What I've heard is going to be different because some stuff happened that didn't happen, and blah, blah. It's very confusing.
I didn't play it the first time, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. So I'm like,
my first Final Fantasy game was 15.
I'm like, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 7. This remake is my opportunity to walk into it, and it's an opportunity for people who fucking love Final Fantasy 7 to go back to that world and replay the story and have it slightly different, not know everything that's about to happen.
Yeah,
that's pretty
true.
cool.
That's
like
cool.
That's cool. Not really a remake, more of a retelling.
True.
But then they split it into 2 games, and I'm like, And more importantly,
Did I actually finish it?
the second part of that game has not come out, but they have released or are talking about Final Fantasy 16. And I'm like, fuck Final Fantasy 16. You have a much anticipated game. Do it.
It's pretty straightforward.
Just fucking do that one. You can wait for 16 till later. No one gives a fuck about 16. 16 standalone.
It was the second
Finish
part of
this
fucking
one.
7.
Finish the one that everyone's clamoring for. But yeah, so that's an interesting one. As I said, personally, I don't really believe it's a remake. I believe it's a retelling. Because I believe that there's enough changes in it that it's like people going in who have played Final Fantasy VII and going, it's my boy, my character, my whatever, and people, but are also going, oh, this is new. So, however you feel about that, but know that you fucking finish that second game so that I can play it. The first one I'm talking about.
Wait at least 10 years.
And then I'll go back and be like, these graphics aren't great.
I don't like this. Why?
Yeah, no. The other one is, that one just, that's a big one for me. But, and we talked about this like at the start of this podcast. That was an hour ago. The news story. The news story. And, the reason that I refuse to turn notifications off on my phone is news stories like the one that popped up on my phone the other day, and I told Kris about, and I told another person about, and they were like, "You made this up." Like, this is something that you would make up. And I was like, someone probably did make it up.
I went along with it. She did.
And let me start. Someone probably did make it up, because there's no way in hell this news story is official. Because it's just not. There's no way in hell is this story ever going to be official. But I love it in the same way that I love Napoleon was short and Hitler only had one testicle. Now, we know Napoleon wasn't short. I can't remember if Hitler only had one testicle, because I don't Google Hitler a lot, because that's not something that's easy to explain when someone walks in and goes, why are you Googling Hitler? Gonna put you on a watch list. Gonna watch you. Watching you. No, I was just trying to find out if he really only had one testicle. I'm watching you. No. So you don't Google Hitler.
So you're helping one of the students with a report.
Yes. What are they reporting on? How many testicles Hitler had. No, but, so, again, Napoleon wasn't short. Hitler, we're on the fence about his testicles.
Maybe one of them's on the fence.
Possibly. However, we do know why those stories came about. Propaganda. Demoralize the army by your leader. Napoleon was in Europe, doing his whole Napoleon thing, beating people, kicking asses, occasionally losing. But the story that he was a short man was to demoralize his men and encourage the good guys, I guess. I don't know. History is weird.
Yeah.
It's very hard to say who was the good guys and bad guys in most historical situations. Except World War II, that one really helps you out. Thanks, Hitler.
Yeah.
you made that one easy.
Yes.
Shit. Who's the bad guy in this situation? Probably the one experimenting on children and locking people in concentration camps. I'm just gonna guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the news story itself I read, it was just a headline. I never went into it because the headline said it all. Putin falls downstairs, poops himself. And I was just like, that's brilliant.
Great.
That's right. I don't care if it's true or not. That's going into the legends of Napoleon was short, Hitler had one testicle, Putin pooped his pants. It's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. And then, because I literally read that headline and went, oh, that's brilliant, that's great. Of course it's unofficial. No one in Russia's coming out and being like, yeah, Putin pooped himself. And so I told these guys, and they were just like, you made that up. That's not a real story. I'm like, no, it really is. And then I Googled it. And then I found two great headlines. Because one of them was just Putin poops pants. And I was like, oh, that's classic. I'm like, that's a good one. The other one was Putin poops all over. And I was like, oh. I'm like, that's brilliant. But as I said, it's...
And then it triggered so much...
No one...
talk about it?
Yeah. No one can verify this. This story is unofficial from all hell, because no way is Russia coming out and being like, yeah, no, he did. And there was a talk about it's just a story about his failing health. This is what, But come on, let's be honest. Every one of us is getting sicker every goddamn day. I'm gonna go and eat a fucking double cheeseburger with bacon after this. That's gonna get me closer to death. I went to the gym before this. That got me closer to death. Everything we do brings us closer to death.
I went to gym 2 weeks ago. Closer to death.
Exactly. However, falling down the stairs and pooping ourselves, that's not something we all do. And I love it because it's just plausible enough that, it's just plausible enough that if you fell down the stairs, you might poop yourself, no matter who you are.
That's true.
But it's also just, massively undermining to this whole macho, I'm Putin kind of thing that he's been playing up for so long, and I'm just like... It's like, I don't care who made up this story. It probably came out of Ukraine. The Ukraini, as we've discussed. The elite secret operative unit of the Ukraine army that makes up Putin poop-related stories.
Yeah.
The Ukraini. And...
I think we were talking 40 minutes.
Dude, it was a long thing. I've had time to mull out my thoughts on this. Explaining the Ukraini took me so long, but I'm like, no, that's who we're going to call them. That's who they are. That's who the story probably came from, because Ukraine's going to do anything it can to undermine him at this moment. But this is probably the most golden way to ever do it, right?
Yeah, it is. The best way to do it.
This is how I'm going to undermine all of my enemies. I'm just going to put stories out of there that poop themselves. It's brilliant. It's just it's so simple and brilliant and can never be confirmed. But should be spread because this needs to become Napoleon was short, Hitler had one testicle,
It could
Putin
be eventually.
Putin poops his pants. But yeah, no, it led to a very, very funny conversation. But as I said, I love that story, and that is why I will never turn off notifications till I know Bone, because most of the time you get Marvel shit. Sometimes you get a little bit of football that you're interested in. Not really.
I didn't even.
Sometimes you get game sales that you're like, oh, what's on sale?
Ooh,
Nothing I care about.
Yeah.
But just once. Actually, twice this year, I got 2 stories I was like, wow. First one, Queen died. I was like, wow. I thought she had another 50 years in it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Lizzie. She's going to outlive us all. And the second one, Putin pooped his pants. And I was like, 2 completely different emotions. Just shock and awe and absolute joy. But Putin poops his pants. It's so good. It's so simple. It's so simple yet effective. And will never be confirmed. But so simple. I love it. It's one of the truly joyous things about it.
It could eventually be confirmed.
Maybe, possibly. But it's one of the truly joyous things about 2022. Someone had the guts to make that story and put it on the internet for everyone to read. And surprisingly, Russia hasn't squished it down yet and been like, boom, 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 get rid of that, gotta hide that. No, it's still findable. So, yeah, it's
They
pretty
were smart. They did it on someone else's computer.
absolutely. More importantly, and like this is where the conversation went. What if it's not true? What if it's not true? Someone's made it up to undermine him. Rah rah. Hilarious. Well done, Ukraine. You guys have my vote. Then came the next part of, what if it is true? And let me try again. A disgruntled Russian put it out for the world to hear. And it is a true story. It's like, that's great. That's brilliant.
And the whole thing that someone's got to tell it. Who's going to tell it?
Oh,
No one's going to want to.
that is possibly the best one. Because, like, even if it's not true, you can imagine the Russian general sitting there being, or Russian intelligence officer sitting there being like, so we draw straws, right? And then someone walks into the office like, what are we drawing straws on? It's like, well, over in the West, they've got this news story, spins his screen around, just Putin poops all over. Fuck.
Shit.
And like, I would imagine the dude who draws that I can't talk today. Draws the short straw. Gotta pronunciate each word. He's thinking, do I do what this short straw makes me do and go tell Putin, or do I end it?
That's a good question.
This is probably less painful. I'm obligated to do this.
Yes.
So he walks in, Mr. Putin, in the West, they believe you've pooped your pants. What? Bang!
I've told him, how'd I go?
I ain't going to a gulag. But no, it's a great story. It is the feel-good story of the year. But yeah, no, after all the shit that he's done to Ukraine, now he's got a little in his pants. Yeah, no, it's a great story, and you people watching may think that Darcy and Kris, you are too mature and handsome to find poop jokes funny. No, we're not. Especially when they're poop jokes about Putin. Yeah. The only story that could possibly top this by the end of the year, and that's what?
I can't be bothered to do the rest.
24 days away? In 24 days, the only story that could possibly beat it, in my honest opinion, Donald Trump falls down an escalator, poops and pisses his pants. I was just like, that'd be hilarious.
It'd be even better. If
I would love that, because it'd just be like, and then just a picture of him like,
not
turtling.
only that,
He's turtling.
he had a long fall. Because he went down the wrong way and it kept slowly dragging him back up at the same time.
Dragging him back through it. And like, that's the only thing, because it's hilarious. It's hilarious when people who build up these reputations as being so good get these stories that just bring them back down. It's like, you're like a child pooping your pants. But yeah, so it's a hard story to beat. It definitely has mine for report of the year. If it is true, whoever wrote it needs a Pulitzer. Do they get Pulitzers for reporting? I don't know. Whatever the Nobel Prize for reporting's equivalent is, that's yours. If this is a true story and you wrote it, hero. If it's a false story and you wrote it,
give it to him anyway.
Pulitzer Prize, because that is for fiction.
No, well, see, what you do is you don't give them that one. You give them the other one just to set in stone and make everyone think that it did happen.
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
So as I said, like, hopefully one day in future, when we talk about the great villains of history and how Napoleon was a little short guy who had short man syndrome.
Yes.
Even though he was average height for the time, possibly even taller than average height, I can't remember. Hitler only had one testicle. Wasn't a real man. And Putin poops his pants. And, you have to tell the kids, Napoleon wasn't that short. Don't know about Hitler's testicles. Even, let's say 100 years later. Can't really Google Hitler and come off PG from that. Even Google's judging you on that one.
Yeah.
And Putin pooped his pants. Well, we can neither confirm nor deny that, but that's how the story goes. That's how the story goes.
And we're just going to go along with it.
And love every second of it.
Yes.
And really, what more can you ask for?
Nothing.
Exactly. And I actually think one of the first times ever that story was so great, we actually have to end the podcast there.
Yeah.
There's nothing more we can say that could be better than that. No. So, as always, I've been Darcy, joined by Kris.
Yes.
Except for that one Bunny Man day where I wasn't Darcy.
That was a thing.
Yeah. I actually have to talk to you about that, but as always, I've been Darcy, Kris. And thank you for joining us. If you liked it, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and more importantly, go check out that Putin pooped himself story. Like, seriously, get some real movement on that so that it starts popping up on people's stories, because it's brilliant.
Yes,
We will catch you next time. See ya.